Hey loves, welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Faith, and today guys, I'll be checking out this video and it's titled Race Hustlers Black Lives Matter Narrative Shattered by Douglas Murray, and it says we are tired of it and why should we apologize for slavery? You guys, I'm super excited for this. If you're yet to subscribe to this channel, please consider subscribing. Give this video a massive thumbs up, comment, share, and all that good stuff. And without much ado, let's see what Douglas Murray has for us in this video.
The problem is we've forgotten how to be genuinely proud of our great countries, both America and the United Kingdom, two of the greatest countries in the world.
Exactly.
It's almost like every day now, somebody somewhere, normally on the left, the woke left, is queuing up to find a reason to hate the countries and their histories.
Yeah.
Well, it's a kind of grievance competition. Your guest earlier just tried to engage in it. I don't know what hurt she believes she's had from slavery. All of this was addressed 2 centuries ago. Everything has consequences. All history has consequences and ramifications. But, you know, if we were to play this fairly, we would at least look at all of the countries around the world that engaged in the slave trade who are simply not interested in any form of reparations. The Ottoman Empire, all the Arab countries who not just traded far more slaves than across the Atlantic, but castrated all the men so that there wouldn't be any more African slaves after them. They worked them to the bone. I see no interest across Africa in paying reparations for selling their brother and sister Africans into slavery or for working them to the bone to the present day. There is slavery across Africa today. In fact, there are more slaves in the world.
You guys, I totally agree with what Douglas Murray said here, because every continent, every country has either been victim or perpetrators of slavery at one point or the other. Either they are victims of slavery or they are the slave master. So I don't even know who is going to be apologizing, because this slave trade does not even limit to one particular country or continent. It revolves around the whole world. And if everyone starts to apologize to the other, everybody will be a victim, because in one way or the other, they have been victimized by slavery. And I really see no point why people keep bringing up this slavery reparation that happened so many years ago, because the people who slavery impacted directly on are no longer with us. Even the ones that were the slave masters and the ones that were the slave, none of them is alive today. And if you keep saying that they should apologize, what about those people who were once slaves and later they had their freedom and they started owning their own slaves? This slavery reparation is something that should just die down, because nobody is innocent when it comes to slave trade or whatever that was going on during those days. Do you think that there should be apologies for slavery, and who should be apologized to, and who will be making the apologies? Let me know your thoughts on this one, and let's continue watching.
In fact, there are more slaves in the world today than there were at the height of the transatlantic slave trade. So some of us are simply a bit bored of hearing people ripping at closed wounds and then crying about their hurt or their presumed hurt. Because everybody could do this. 1 million Europeans were stolen by North Africans over the course of decades of the North African Barbary pirate slave trade. Where would you end if you did that? The answer is you couldn't end, because nobody is alive who has actually suffered the hurt, and nobody is alive who did the wrong. And I'd make one other point, if I may. It's always the countries that people want to come to who are put through this struggle session. Britain, like America and France, are the most desired destinations for migrants worldwide, and have been for centuries. Why is that? It's not because we're racist, it's because we're better. It's because we're good. It's because when we see racism, we actually call it out and recognize it as a sin. Try finding that across Africa. Try finding that across the Middle East or in China. Nobody would hear. So what we have is a situation where the more virtuous countries are presented as the worst countries. It's sick, and most of us are tired of it.
Thank you, Douglas.
I am so sorry.
Once again, I agree with what Douglas Murray just said. Most of us are tired of hearing about this slavery reparation, because obviously this shouldn't be a topic to be discussed in this present day, because it actually happened in the past. As sad as it is, so many people actually benefited from this slavery. For example, the woman that is attacking Douglas Murray, I would say that she benefited from this slavery, because if her forefathers weren't enslaved, she might probably be in one African village, or might not eventually have what she has today. Because she's a descendant of slavery, I feel there are people who benefited from it. I feel the present generation are the ones that benefited from this slavery, in the sense that if their forefathers weren't enslaved, they wouldn't even be where they are today. There are so many blacks in America right now who are now Americans because their forefathers were enslaved. Now they are fully American citizens, all because of this slavery. And it's this same set of people that are clamoring for slavery reparation. I don't think anyone should be paid any slavery reparation, and I don't think anyone should be apologized to, because this slavery as it is revolved around the whole world. And I feel this matter should be put to rest, and let's just move on with better things that are happening in the world presently, and just put this to rest. Let me know what you guys think so far about this, and let's wrap this video up, guys.
Sorry that Douglas is bored by the pain that has come from
That's not what he said.
through slavery.
He didn't say he was bored.
He didn't say that. See, but what you're doing there, yeah, but hang on, Paula. Paula, you're being very disingenuous. That's not what he said.
I am.
And viewers aren't stupid. They know exactly what he said. He's not saying he's bored.
I know
by
what
the
he
pain.
said.
He's saying, and I think it's a perfectly valid point, the pain that people who are alive today are claiming they're suffering for what happened 200 or 300 years, it's not a real pain. They're not the ones who suffered what was going on 200 or 300 years ago.
At all.
In terms of justice for all, I mean, I think we'd all agree that there should
I'm
be
not
justice.
suffering from when the Normans invaded this country.
Agree.
I'm not suffering from what my ancestors went through.
I noticed that I've not been allowed to respond.
Or from the Romans. In other words, where do you take this? I mean, should I now be feeling pain from what the Romans did to this country?
In terms of slavery, I can take it to 2015, when the slave owners were compensated by the government. So I can take it to that extent.
Where does your personal pain come?
And I can say to you that I don't think that apologising is a bad thing. I think that apologising for a wrong is a good thing. I think that the Dutch royal family have done a fantastic thing in acknowledging what has gone wrong.
Okay, I hear you, but
I
honestly think it'll make no difference at all.
At all. It's going to make no difference in the world of today, because what we're talking about is something that happened hundreds of years ago. And I don't know why she kept saying that apologies should be made, because I still do not understand how they're going to determine who is going to make these apologies and who are the beneficiary of these apologies. What I'm confused about is how to determine the statistics of people who claim they were impacted by slavery. How can you be impacted by something that happened, let's say 300, 400, or even more years ago? How has it impacted on you negatively today? This is one of the least problems we have in the society today. This slave talk is not one of the major problems the world is facing right now. Douglas Murray is this bold man that I love the way he talks. I love how fierce, how bold he is. He's not afraid to attack anybody who is in the wrong, and I love him for that. He's such an intelligent man, and I really enjoyed every minute of this video. If you guys totally enjoyed watching, give it a massive thumbs up, comment, share, and all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.